This video is sponsored by Squarespace. As a new wedding photographer, knowing what to bring to your weddings can be difficult. You're just starting to build your kit, and there's a lot of information on the internet about what people are bringing to weddings. So as a 10 years tenured wedding photographer, let me tell you what I generally bring to all my weddings. And now keep in mind, I like to keep my wedding kit nice and small. I don't like to bring too much. So there's a fair amount of things, but compared to some wedding photographers, I have a pretty lean kit. Starting out with the most obvious thing, which is your cameras. Generally, I suggest having 2 cameras, but you don't absolutely have to have 2. It really depends on how you're going to set up your lenses. But when it comes to deciding on what camera to get, I know there's a lot of information out there, but the 2 things I think are most important is a camera that you know and a camera that has dual card slots. If it's crop sensor, medium format, full frame, all that doesn't matter, but you need to have a way to back up the photos on the day of so nothing happens to these precious moments. So get whichever camera body you want, get whichever camera brand you want. As you know, I love shooting with Fujifilm, and I love the results I get no matter what camera I'm using, but that's me. Not every photographer has to use the same thing, and I don't believe in there being a best. If you know the camera and you like the camera and you like the results you get, then that's the camera for you. Just make sure you're shooting on dual card slots. Now, when it comes to lenses, there's 2 routes you can take. You can take the zoom route or the prime lens route. Now, if you're going with zooms, you're going to want to do the classic 24 to 70 and 70 to 200. This is going to cover all your bases, and what you can do is just use one camera body and swap between the 2 lenses. For most of the day early on, you can do 24 to 70. When you get to the ceremony, you can do 70 to 200. Or if you're using 2 camera bodies like I do, you can have 1 lens on each camera. Now, if you're shooting prime, you definitely want to have 2 cameras at the same time. This way you don't have to switch your lenses as often. And generally the focal lengths I would suggest are 24, 35, 50, and 85. That's all full frame equivalent. This range of lenses is going to give you everything you need, from the super wide shots for your venues and for larger groups, and 85 for getting tight when you're at the ceremony or even for speeches. This is generally how I'm doing it. 2 camera bodies, 4 lenses. Now, the second reason for having 2 camera bodies is that I have a backup with me all the time. Again, you can go single body and zoom lenses, but if your camera gives up on you, you're kind of just like stuck. And you don't want to be stuck at a wedding day and be like, sorry, my camera's stuck. You can't do that. So having 2 bodies is really nice. You know, God forbid both my cameras give up, but I have 2 cameras. Like, the chances of both of them messing up are not that high. So dual card camera, 2 camera bodies, and either zoom lens setup or prime lens setup. That's going to be your cameras. After you have your cameras all figured out, then you have to think about your lighting. Lighting is going to be one of the most important things in wedding photography, and something I hate to see with a lot of newer wedding photographers nowadays is they just don't bring flashes with them, and they'll shoot and they'll just raise the ISO and they'll just use Lightroom, AI, denoise. I get it. I get it. It's nice, it's easy, it works, it looks good. I'd be using it too. But you can't just do everything in post. And you're gonna end up hurting yourself and your business if you just shoot around going to ISO 15 billion and then trying to fix it in post. This is why you need lighting. So for lighting, I like to keep everything with just speed lights. I use the V862. And again, as a business owner, the reason I'm using this old flash is because it works. They still work. They work fine. I've been using them for like 4 years now. They haven't given out on me, so I'm still using them. If I were to upgrade, I might grab some of the V1s, but either way, the Godox flashes are nice. Now, I have 4 of these, so I can have 2 different styles of setups. I can either have 2 flashes for my on-camera flashes, so each camera gets a flash, or I can have 4 flashes, 2 on cameras and then 2 off. And I actually talk about this whole setup in my flash course. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, definitely take a look in the description below. It's a great beginner's flash course, and it's going to teach you how to get great photos. So you don't have to go into all the details about like knowing every single thing about flash. If you just want to pick up a flash, go to the wedding and get great photos, this course is going to help you out. Now, again, the reason I use speed lights like this is I travel a lot for weddings, and it makes it so much easier to have 4 speed lights and bring that with me rather than having like strobes and speed lights and additional lights, I can just easily have my 4 lights and call it a day. For those lights, I also use modifiers, and as you know, I love the MagMod modifiers. The one I swear by is the MagSphere, and I always use it and it gets me great results. I'm using these on my on-camera flashes and also my off-camera flashes with grids. So again, the MagSphere is like a main staple in my setup and something I always bring with me to every wedding. Now, I do use continuous light at times, especially for sparkler exits, which I talk about in this video right up here. But the Lume Cube is my continuous light of choice. It's small and easy to use. It fits in your hot shoe and it puts out just enough light to give me what I need. Basically, during the sparkler exit, instead of ruining the feel of the sparkles by using flash, I actually use a continuous light just to light my couple. I'll raise my ISO to get in all the ambiance of the sparklers and I get amazing results absolutely every time. So again, for the lighting I'm bringing with me, I have 4 speed lights. I'm usually bringing all of them with me unless I know it's going to be a small, short wedding day. Then I'll just bring 2, which I'll put 1 on each camera. And I also bring a Lume Cube with me that's going to help me out with any continuous lighting I need, basically for phone exits, sparkler exit, bubble exits. No flash for those, just natural light with the continuous light of the Lume Cube. Also, don't forget to have modifiers. It helps the flash look better and makes the flash easier to use. Now, before we get into more of what I bring with me to weddings, let's not forget about this video sponsor, Squarespace. As a new wedding photographer, setting up a web presence and having a website is extremely important. It's the best way to get clients and high-paying clients. If you're just on Instagram, you're not going to do as well as you could if you have a web presence all around online and at other places, not just social media. Squarespace is an online platform that makes it super easy to make this website. You can use their templates, so you don't have to have any design chops at all. You can just get on and make the website quick and easy. I've been using Squarespace myself for over 10 years at this point, and I love the system. And whenever I need to make updates, it's quick and easy. And not only can you use it for your website, but you can make different pages for your couples, like this engagement tips page that I generally have on my site. And on top of that, I can sell products, check my analytics to see where people are viewing my website from, sell courses, and even start sending invoices to other businesses if needed. Squarespace is a great place to start your business, and I definitely recommend it to everyone. Make sure to check out the link in the description below for 10% off of your first website or domain. So we have our cameras, we have our lighting. Let's talk about all the additional accessories I'm bringing with me to my weddings. The main one is the Holdfast Gear Moneymaker. This is something that's just as important as the cameras in my opinion, and if you haven't used one, I would highly recommend trying them out. If you watch any of my full wedding day videos, you see me rocking a Holdfast Gear Moneymaker. I've been using it basically since I started my business, especially since I went the route of 2 cameras and prime lenses. This dual camera strap helps me hold 2 cameras at the same time and also additional bags at the same time. It makes you extremely mobile and fast, and that's what I love about it. On top of it being that nimble, they also last forever. Like, it's quality leather that stands up to anything. I still have my original Holdfast that I bought when I first started my business, and I could keep using it if I wanted to. I upgraded to one of the newer ones, but like, it's still here and kicking. I could give it to someone else and they could use it as well. And aside from carrying 2 cameras at the same time, I love how there's all these extra D-rings and stuff, so you can hang stuff on it at different places. So generally I put a bag on my back and also a pouch on the corner here for an extra lens. This way I can get to everything extremely quickly. If you haven't ever checked out the Holdfast Gear Moneymaker, I'll leave a link in the description below. You should definitely check them out. I am an ambassador for them, but I love them. I've been using them since the start of my business. Now, for the bag I have on my back, that is the Sightseer, which I put my flashes in and also an additional lens, any extra batteries I need, everything is on me. And the reason I do this is because throughout the wedding day, I don't have to go running back to a bag to get stuff. I have my things right there with me. So for some reason I'm outside and it's nice and bright, and then I go inside and it's a dungeon and I need a flash, I don't have to be like, oh, hold on, let me go get my flash. I can just reach back, grab it out, and boom, there's my flash right there, set it up. This has saved me so many times, and being quick and nimble is definitely a wedding photographer thing. You can't go running back to your flash to be like, "Oh, sorry, it wasn't in my bag. I missed the moment because I didn't have my stuff with me." Like, you need to be able to take out what you need at any time. Now, I think they're not making the Sightseer anymore. I'm not sure, but they do have the new lens pouch, which I will be checking out soon. Also, if you want to see a full review of the Moneymaker, please let me know in the comments below. I actually have never made a video about it, and I probably should since I've been using them for so long. So that's my main accessory, my strap and my bag. Like, I literally cannot shoot without it. They also make solo straps, which are awesome too, and I use that if I'm doing something more low key. But for the most part, I'm usually using a dual camera strap at all times. Next up is going to be my flat lay mats. I use Chasing Stone for flat lay mats, and they have really nice stretch canvas hand painted flat lay mats. This is great for doing detail shots, and I'll usually do the invitation details on that. You've seen it on my full wedding day videos. I also made a video about flat lays recently. You can check that out right up above. But these mats are absolutely amazing. I'm not sponsored by them at all, but I own like 5 and I paid for it with my own money. These are definitely necessary. If you're wanting to get nicer flat lay shots, this is the way to do it. Now, again, not everyone's into taking these photos, so clearly you don't have to bring it with you, but this is what I bring on every wedding. And it helps me so many times because anytime I don't have a place to put a nice detail shot, I can just break out the flat lay mat and use that. Or you could even use it for tight portraits if you wanted to. You could have your second photographer hold it up for you and then do like a 90 mil or 110 headshot of someone and have it just be the backdrop behind them. So there's a lot of things you can use it for, which is why I like it. And like I said, I have 5, so I have a bunch of different colors that I can use. Also, I mentioned them earlier, but having additional batteries for your camera is huge. Now, clearly cameras nowadays, especially all the mirrorless ones, they go through the batteries kind of quickly. So you're gonna need some additional batteries. If your camera doesn't have a battery grip, make sure to bring an ample amount. And not too many, but think about how many times you may need to change your batteries. I think for my Fujifilm X-T5s, in boost mode, I'm going through about 3 batteries for each camera throughout a wedding day. So I'm bringing like 6 batteries with me at least, and it depends on how long the day is. Like, I second shot recently, and it was a shorter day, and I only used like 1.5 batteries. And then I did another day that was like 10.5 hours, and that day I got to the 3rd battery, and I was starting to burn that one down as well. And last but not least, obviously you need SD cards. Now, the thing with SD cards to remember, especially because cameras are getting so much better nowadays, is make sure you're getting fast SD cards. I can't tell you how many times I've second shot for somebody and they give me an SD card that's slow. I actually was second shooting recently and I was using my XT5s, and I think it was a sub 95 megabits per second SD card, and that thing was struggling because the XT5 is 40 megapixels. So again, the more you start bumping the megapixels up, you need fast SD cards. I use SanDisk SD cards. It's all I use, not sponsored, but hopefully one day they will sponsor me. But I love their SD cards, and I've recently been buying their 300 megabits a second UHS-2 cards, and they're great. Those are the ones I'm using in the GFX 102 because 102 megapixels will eat an SD card alive. And if you don't have those fast read and write speeds, you're gonna have issues with your camera. This kit is everything I'm bringing to absolutely every wedding I'm going to. 2 cameras, 4 lenses, 4 flashes with stands, a flat lay mat, the whole fast gear double strap, a bag on my back, a pouch on my strap, and I'm good to go. Get some continuous lighting in there, and you're ready for absolutely everything. And again, like I said, as a starting wedding photographer, you don't have to have absolutely all of this. When I first started, the main things I definitely ended up getting were the dual cameras and the dual camera strap. Everything else kind of came over time as I learned about what I needed more. Like, I didn't do the whole 4 flash things, I just did 2. But remember that wedding photography is a business. And I know a lot of people in the comments are like, "That's a lot of stuff. You said you had a small wedding kit." Yes, compared to some wedding photographers, I've seen people who bring like 2 cameras and like 2 backup cameras and like 6 flashes, and I've seen it. My kit is extremely small. So just remember, you're starting, but you do have to make the investment to get the work. So All of you who are thinking my kit is large and it costs a lot, yes, it does cost a lot, but it's a business and you invest in it, then you make the money back as you book more weddings. And if you want to learn more about weddings and see me working full weddings, definitely make sure to check out this playlist here, and I'll catch y'all next time.